everybody. We are on the Mildred's Umbrella YouTube channel, and I am Becky Ayers, the company manager, sitting here with the wonderful John Harvey, the director of The Drowning Girls, coming July 16th to Houston, Texas. So hey, John.
Hey.
How you doing?
Good.
How are rehearsals going?
Very good. These three actresses, Patricia and Courtney and Miranda, are incredible. And we're pretty much off book, and we're just starting to practice things. And the next big thing is the set. So once we bring in tubs, that will be a whole new experience. But otherwise, we're very excited.
So you're early, pretty much.
Yeah. It feels it's very nice to have that opportunity for once. We've wanted to do this show for a long time, and the actresses have had the scripts for a long time, so that everybody was really ready and excited about the show. So we got everything in, got it going quickly, and I'm happy with where we're at.
So how long between picking the show and getting to do the show? How long was that?
It's been a long time. I originally started asking Jennifer about the show back in 2010 or 2011. And I had seen some stuff online about a Fringe Festival performance of it, and it just struck me as a Mildred show. I mean, it's strong female characters, it's interesting content, and it's told in such a fantastic way that I said it to Jennifer, and I said, hey, I really think this is a Mildred show. And she contacted the authors, and because the authors were the performers, they were doing the show in Canada, and they didn't really want other people to be doing the show that they were making money doing, traveling around. So I kept on Jennifer about asking, and for several years, it would just every couple months, I was like, have you heard anything? Have you heard anything? And finally, we actually saw that a production had been done in Cleveland, and some other people had seen a UIL, a high school had done it. And so it had just kind of gotten down here, and as soon as we found it, like Jennifer jumped on it and said, John has asked about this. This is a show we're doing, and we're doing it with him, and so
awesome.
I'm very excited.
Awesome.
So yeah, we're looking at about 4 or 5 years from first seeing it.
That's a long time from conception to
seeing
it on the stage.
It's a lot of time to think about it. It's a lot of time to think about it. So it's it's so fun. Like seriously, we just ended a rehearsal, and I sat back there with a smile on my face the whole time because I'm enjoying this.
Awesome. This is your first time directing for MU's main stage. Is that correct?
Yes.
So are you excited? Is it?
It's weird. I've been doing theater in Houston for 20 years, so I've had my share of like shows that I've directed and been a driving force of. This one does feel different because it's we have like a real budget this time. I'm used to doing stuff in warehouses and with my friends agreeing to do it for beer and not actually being able. I have partaken
of that beer.
Not actually being able to like pay people, and so it's exciting for that reason. And I'm very excited these three actresses are the ones that are being able to do it because I've worked with them in other things, and I've really wanted, it's my kind of way of giving back to them by saying, I've loved working with you, please come be part of this. I'm very excited though, because I feel like as a company member, I'm only going to put a show out there that works for the company and drives the company forward, and I really feel strongly that this show does that. And so I would say that there's probably only been 3 shows that I've been involved with or wanted to be involved with in my life, and this is one of the 3 that like I've felt the strongest about like seeing it happen with my help. And so it's a great honor to be able to direct for the main stage, and I'm glad that the opportunity came my way, and I'm thankful that Jennifer and everyone else with the company put their trust in me to do it.
Awesome. So for the past 20 years, you've been doing like sound design and acting, and you had your own production company for a while. How has that influenced your directorial eye, I guess? Or has it?
When I first started, I thought that a director was much more the person who came in and was like, yeah, I'm the leader, and you must do this, and you must go here, and you must say it this way. And having done it enough now, the other thing is that when you've worked in the community long enough, you know the people, and you've like seen them do a lot of stuff, and you know what they're capable of. And that's, you look at things a different way. Instead of having an audition where you're like looking at people and just trying to like pull something out, you like will see a play and like instantly have like, oh, this person. You begin like really saying, oh, this person would be strong and this person would be strong if I could just find this person. And then you find that third person and you're like, I have the show, I have it, So that I feel, and as a sound designer, I hear stuff in shows when I'm watching it, and so we're bringing in Andy, who's worked on a lot of Mildred's Umbrella shows, and he's going to be doing live music here for us, and I feel like I'm going to be able to communicate very well with him of like, okay, let's kind of take it this way, and give him like song samples and things that he can work from and create from. And I feel like that's going to be a nice blend, especially for this show, because of the creep factor. Speaking
of the creep factor, it's a little different from your typical summer musical stock fare. Is it as creepy as the poster and flyers?
It is creepy, and I will not name the restaurant, but I was at a restaurant who I had put a poster up, and they took it down because they thought it was too creepy. They thought I was putting something wrong up, and I actually talked to the manager. I'm like, you said I could put my poster up, and then you took it down. But it's not. We can't get around the fact that these three women were murdered by one guy.
Yeah.
That's that's where the drowning girls come from. These three women were all drowned in a bath by George Joseph Smith. So we have to start there. But there's a lot of joy and play between these three women. The way we're presenting it is that they're almost in a purgatory, kind of a no exit scenario where they're just kind of reliving this thing over and over again. And they know each other very well, and they have tea parties, and they play like they're cops and robbers. There's a lot of other things besides the grimness of it. Now, if you leave the show going, that was the best comedy I've ever seen, we probably didn't do our job the right way, because it is kind of a grim story, and there's a point about the abuse that these women took from George Joseph Smith that we don't want to like gloss over.
Right.
But there's a lot of fun and change, and it's I also think presentation-wise, it's not a show. If you're used to seeing an Ibsen play or something that's very like straightforward, where this happens and this happens and this happens, and it's all compartmentalized, and you watch the story evolve. This isn't that way. These girls become multiple characters. They kind of change in front and they turn on a dime. So it's a different kind of thing to see, and I think that audiences will like it.
Okay, cool. So what's up next for you?
I have been asked about some Mildred shows, but I don't know that we've finalized anything exactly. I think later on in the season I'm going to be sound designing. I might possibly be acting, but I'm not. I don't know yet. So, but I'm definitely going to be doing something later on, probably on the tech side for the company. And I'm going to be sound designing 3 shows for Classical Theater Company here in coming up, Henry V. And then I did Christmas Carol last year, and we're reprising that. The original cast is coming back, and we're remounting it a year later. and then I'll be working on Doll's House with them.
Okay.
But I'll also be doing things, and I'm a fixture at the Museum of Dysfunction. Like whenever there's something going on, I was at the first one, and I've been involved at least somewhat with everyone since.
And that's we're doing that in the summertime this time, so it's gonna be fun to have a summer fest. Yeah. Any last words before we drown you?
Yeah. No, you know. Pay no attention to the edit you just saw.
Magic.
I've worked with Mildred's Umbrella for 10 years, and when we first started, they had done stuff for 4 or 5 years already, and we were at Midtown Arts Center, and you know I had produced shows at Midtown Arts Center, and I love the place. But anyone who's produced a show there knows that there's interesting things that come along with Midtown Arts Center.
Rats.
And it's
ghosts.
Huge bugs, water from the ceiling. But all of those things, you know, it's been fun to like do that stuff when it was just a few of us kind of like really winging it. To now, I mean, we're sitting here in a theater with real seats and with a real tech booth.
Uh-huh.
And to have been there that long for that kind of growth and change, it feels really good. You know, I mean, it's nice to see that we are where we are, and I think that this, with the technical aspects of the water and the set and the girls and tubs and all of the things that we're handling kind of from the tech side of this show, it's one of the most ambitious things we've ever done, and I'm really excited to push ourselves, you know. That's I like, because that's how we grow, as we continue to like push on the edges and see what we can do.
And we just got that NEA grant too for this show.
Very nice. That was very, very nice.
Yeah.
And it's you know, we're growing, and that's and I think that the audiences like to see, you know, that we haven't like found one thing and stick to it. Like we do something and then we find something bigger and badder and try it, and that's who we are as artists trying to grow, and I think our audiences appreciate that, and it's exciting to be part of it.
Awesome. Well, that wraps it up for us. Thank you. You have been watching an exclusive interview with Mr. John Harvey, the director of The Drowning Girls, coming July 16th to Studio 101 in Houston, Texas. This is Mildred's Umbrella.